Imagine the dark, churning expanse of the North Atlantic Ocean in the middle of hurricane season. The wind is howling at 55 knots, a furious Force 10 storm on the Beaufort scale. Now, imagine you are sitting in the warm, brightly lit cabin of a luxurious cruise ship, thousands of miles from land, believing you are entirely safe. Then, without a single warning from the ship's advanced radar, the ocean unleashes its full fury. A colossal rogue wave, estimated at 15 meters, nearly 50 feet high, rises from the dark depths. It crashes directly into the side of the steel giant with concussive force. The heavy safety glass shatters instantly. Thousands of liters of freezing Atlantic water violently burst into your room.
This sounds like the climax of a Hollywood disaster movie, but it is the absolute terrifying reality of what happened at 1510 British summertime on Thursday, September 28, 2000. It was the defining moment in the life of a legendary survivor of the seas, the cruise ship MV Oriana. To truly understand how this majestic vessel survived the ultimate test of nature, we must trace her journey from the very beginning. The specific journey that would test the MV Oriana began in late September 2000. The vessel was scheduled for an eastbound transatlantic return voyage. The starting point of this route was the port of New York City. From there, the ship was to cross the vast expanse of the North Atlantic Ocean, with the final destination being her home port of Southampton, located on the southern coast of England. For this voyage, the Oriana was carrying a nearly full complement of people. Exactly 1,524 passengers who were returning to the United Kingdom, supported by a professional crew of 783 members. The planned route was a direct ocean transit, requiring several consecutive days at sea without any scheduled port calls between North America and Europe. Transatlantic crossings in late September inherently carry meteorological risks due to the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. As the Oriana left the American seaboard and progressed deeper into the North Atlantic, she encountered a severe, rapidly intensifying low-pressure weather system. By the afternoon of Thursday, September 28, 2000, the ship's geographical coordinates placed her approximately 600 miles due west of Cork, Ireland. By this time, the weather had officially deteriorated into a Force 10 storm on the International Beaufort scale. Sustained gale-force winds were recorded at 55 knots. These high winds generated massive rolling ocean swells that consistently measured around 20 feet, approximately 6 meters, in height. Despite these extremely rough conditions, the ship's captain, Richard Fenello, a veteran mariner with over 2 decades of sea experience, noted that the vessel was handling the weather perfectly. The Oriana was successfully pitching and maintaining a steady course ahead of the 20-foot swells. Shortly before 1510 British summertime, BST, an unexpected event occurred on the ship's bridge. Captain Fenello and his officers intercepted an urgent Mayday distress call, broadcasted by a small private yacht that was caught in the same Force 10 storm nearby. As the bridge crew was actively monitoring this external emergency, a localized, highly unpredictable meteorological anomaly formed directly in the Oriana's path. Without any advance warning from the ship's sophisticated radar systems, a massive rogue wave swelled from the ocean. Maritime experts and eyewitnesses later estimated this singular wall of water to be between 12 and 15 meters, approximately 40 to 50 feet high. This made the rogue wave roughly twice the size of the already massive storm swells the ship was navigating. The rogue wave struck the port side of the Oriana with devastating, concussive force. The ship's exterior on the lower passenger decks was equipped with heavy-duty safety glass windows, manufactured specifically to comply with stringent international maritime safety standards. However, the sheer kinetic energy and massive weight of the 15-meter wave completely overwhelmed the materials. Upon impact, the heavy safety glass of 6 separate stateroom windows, 3 on deck 5 and 3 on deck 6, shattered simultaneously. The ocean instantly breached the ship's hull. The physical aftermath was instantaneous. thousands of liters of freezing Atlantic seawater poured forcefully through the shattered window frames directly into the 6 impacted passenger cabins. In the hardest hit rooms, the volume of rushing water was so great that it instantly flooded the space to a significant depth, destroying furniture and interior bulkheads. Because the ship was in the middle of a storm, most passengers were indoors. At the exact moment of the strike, there were 6 passengers and 1 crew member located inside the directly breached cabins. The explosive shattering of the glass sent sharp shards flying across the rooms, resulting in immediate physical injuries. Several individuals sustained painful lacerations that required urgent medical treatment. Furthermore, the terrifying suddenness of the hull breach and the violent ingress of the ocean caused others to suffer from severe clinical shock, necessitating immediate care from the ship's onboard medical team. The flooding did not stop at the initial 6 cabins. Gravity pulled the massive influx of ocean water out of the breached rooms, down the carpeted corridors, and heavily down the ship's main stairwells. This cascading water eventually flooded additional passenger cabins and public areas located on the lower decks before the watertight doors and drainage systems could contain the spread. Following the impact, Captain Fenello executed immediate emergency protocols. To stabilize the violently pitching vessel and prevent further structural damage, he altered the Oriana's heading, turning the bow directly into the howling wind, and drastically reduced the ship's engine speed. To prevent panic among the passengers, he utilized the public address system to deliver a calm, factual broadcast explaining exactly what had occurred and what steps were being taken, instructing everyone to remain seated. Simultaneously, the ship's engineering crew undertook a highly dangerous damage control operation. The breached windows had to be sealed immediately to prevent the ship from taking on more water. Working in the middle of a screaming Force 10 gale, crew members secured themselves with heavy-duty safety harnesses. They managed to successfully board up the shattered windows from the inside of the cabins using thick marine plywood. Then, they welded heavy metal storm shutters directly over the damaged exterior steel frames, successfully sealing the hull against the Atlantic. With her port side temporarily sealed with welded steel and plywood, the Oriana was forced to complete the remainder of her transatlantic journey at a significantly reduced speed. The ship finally limped into the safety of Southampton Harbor on Sunday morning. Due to the reduced speed following the incident, the vessel arrived many hours behind her originally scheduled itinerary. Upon arrival, P&O Cruises management initially stated that the ship had functioned exactly as designed and that the rogue wave was simply an unpredictable freak of nature. Repair crews in Southampton worked rapidly to drain the flooded cabins and replace the temporary metal shutters with new maritime glass. In a testament to the ship's resilience, the Oriana was certified as safe and set sail the very next evening for the Canary Islands. However, the UK's Marine Accident Investigation Branch, MAIB, launched a comprehensive official investigation that soon revealed a more complex truth. While the rogue wave was indeed massive, the final report published in 2001 uncovered that the shattered windows on decks 5 and 6 possessed numerous microscopic defects. These flaws, likely originating either during their manufacture or shipyard installation, significantly compromised the structural integrity of the glass, making it acutely vulnerable to wave impact. Furthermore, the investigation noted that metal storm covers had actually been fitted over the windows on Deck 5 prior to the strike as a severe weather precaution, but the sheer force of the water caused their mounting arrangements to fail completely. These findings led to strict new industry guidelines for the manufacturing, installation, and surveying of ship windows. Ultimately, the MV Oriana didn't just survive a terrifying force of nature. Her ordeal permanently improved safety standards for all modern cruise ships that followed in her wake.